This is Burke. It's 12 days north of hopeless and a few degrees south of freezing to death. It's located solidly on the meridian of misery. The village. In a word, nostalgic. I've never in my life been here before, but I've always dreamed of moving. It's been through a lot and the people have been through even more, so thankfully it's just a movie. But recently, things have changed. You see, most movies get sequels or TV shows. This one became real. I first saw How to Train Your Dragon over 14 years ago. I've grown up alongside these characters in this franchise, so this series as a whole means so much to me. So when a live-action remake gets released, it better be better than lighting the dragon eye for the first time, because otherwise I'm just gonna run straight into a trap.
I mistimed my somersault dive. It was sloppy. It threw off my reverse tumble.
Yeah, we know this.
Hey! Back off my girl. Right, she's trying her best.
Ah, shit. So starting off with the locations and set design. It's good. Yep. The Kill Ring looked very nice, and I kind of liked how it was above the village. It's probably not the safest spot, though. I could see a lot of lawsuits or potential hazards coming from having the Kill Ring up there. The village looked quite neat, too. The fronts of the houses reminded me of the theme park that Universal opened not too long ago, which is probably why this movie exists as a whole. That's probably why. The Great Hall also looks really nice in this version. It also kind of reminds me of like an Age of Empires 2 castle. The port is one place that really got an upgrade with no downsides. This area looks phenomenal. I think the cove looks pretty good too in this version, but it changes shape like 4 times. Like here it's fully walled off, now there's an opening, and now it's just not, it doesn't even have walls in like half of it. And now it's just like 2 inches wide. What? Just pick one? What the fuck? How hard is it? Speaking of things that go hard, Dragon Island looks fucking awesome. I think they nailed the look of the volcano perfectly. And the lava sitting on top really sells the whole look and makes it very spooky. It's rocky, it's rugged, it's completely wild looking. The perfect place for an evil dragon queen to make her dark fortress castle thing. And the scene of all the Vikings just like sieging down the island is probably the best in the whole movie. I mean, the original siege is cool looking, but the ash and smoke everywhere alongside the people with torches lighting the way really helps sell the scene.
I think it's time you learn to fight dragons. What?
Speaking of people, what the hell are some of these changes? I legitimately don't even know where to start. Everyone's just a downgrade. I'm not gonna lie, almost everyone is just straight up a downgrade. The only somewhat okay character is Gobber, but that's just because you have to really try to fuck him up. I don't know, I think Nick Frost was a good pick. Stoick's fine. It's literally just Gerard Butler. Jerry was there for the first movie, so he actually understands the character. I still think this Stoic was a little bit less powerful feeling than in the first movie, but he tried his best. It looks fucking awesome. Something that kind of felt a bit weird is that Stoic and Gobber didn't really feel as connected as they were in the first movie. Like in this one, it seems like they were in between like an acquaintance and a friend, rather than just like, you know, lifelong battle buddies of the first time who became good friends and then now drinking buddies or some shit, I don't know. But it also feels like almost everyone is less connected to each other. Like, the gang didn't really feel like they were caring for each other too much until it felt really forced at the end there. Everyone also felt too much like each other without too many defining features unique to their personality. Like, Fish like still had his nerd, but didn't really do anything apart from that. The twins had 0 defining personality traits, like, at all. The only thing is that they were twins. Stanislav was like the usual egotistical bully that compensates for something that you see in every movie, which is how he was in the original too. But this version felt a lot more hollow because it didn't have any personal connection with his goons. I'm not sure I could say that word anymore. And didn't really have the arm strength to justify any of his assery. His whole personality in this movie is just, oh, my dad doesn't love me. And it doesn't work. Astrid Hoffason is just an asswipe now, but one of those wipes that feels like you're using barbed wire instead of normal paper. In the first movie, she was reserved and didn't interact with people unless she had to. Over time, her selfish personality started to show through as her determination to win dragon training overtook her decency, and her temper started showing quite heavily, up until Hiccup and Toothless just kidnap her and force her eyes open to see an alternate end to the war. In the remake, she's just an asshole from the start, joining in against Hiccup after the dragon attack to yell at him, and what the hell is this scene? Where did this come from?
You live in a different world, don't you? You just coast by, taking it all for granted. Wow. Never having to work for anything, never struggling to get a foot up. I come from nothing. No chief for a dad, no handouts, no excuses. Not afraid of hard work. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done, which in this case means wiping out the dragons for the good of everyone. Sure.
She also does not have the overly invested interest in Hiccup like she did in the first movie. Like, this guy just told you he's gonna do something crazy, and keep in mind, it's Hiccup Horrendous Haddock III we're talking about here, and you don't follow him, or have like any change in your expression at all. Another thing too, she didn't even provoke him to start rambling about all the things he should have done to Toothless. She just sat by after she approached. So this entire movie, Astrid has been more aggressive, with less reason, and now she finally decides not to say anything when it finally matters. Everyone just feels very one-dimensional here, and I don't understand why they had to cut a lot of the personality out of the characters that made them interesting. Speaking of interesting things, Hiccup and Toothless. Where do I start with this?
What is this?
It's my design. Yeah, pretty much the co-captain.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Who are you? Okay, first off, I think Toothless could have been a lot worse. I mean, yeah, sure, he's too big and is completely different in design from the rest of all the other dragons in the movie. But he's mostly the same as the original, which is fine. I think the close-up on Toot's face as he screams into Hiccup looks really good, but there are also quite a few scenes where he really doesn't. Character-wise, Toothless has lost a lot of his curiosity around Hiccup and Vikings in general. He also lost a lot of his expressiveness, which, like, yeah, sure, it's more realistic, but that doesn't mean it's good. I will say, I like his eyes, I like how the scales shine, and I like all of the detail that went into just making sure that it looked somewhat believable. What isn't good is, why does he move like that? Why does he jerk to the right? His fin's gone on his left, so that means he would go down to the left, not up and to the right. Why is that a thing? He also just tries to smile in his own, which, I mean, like, yeah, but that also took away a lot of his sort of analytical and curiosity side, because he doesn't wait for Hiccup to do it first, he just does it. Also, something that miffed me a bit, when Hiccup is first drawing Toothless, also, why is he so bad at drawing? When he drops the pencil, they just kind of stare at each other, which, like, yeah, that's fair, that's probably what I would do, but they just have no reaction to the other not doing anything. Here's this thing that you've been told to watch out for because it is just gonna kill you first time it sees you. It's not doing that, and what do? That's it. No, like, it's just nothing anywhere. I can't find anything interesting anywhere. Speaking of trying to find things interesting in places, Hiccup is just kind of awful. I'm sorry, but I'm also really not. In the books, yes, I'm bringing those up, and the original movies, Hiccup is, like, really sarcastic and very bad at hiding his emotions, which is why the scene after Hiccup and Astrid find the dragon's nest is so impactful, because here you go from goofy talking fishbone to, like, a brick wall in less than a second. In the first half of the movie, we see how Hiccup is ostracized from the rest of the hooligan tribe. He's weak, skinny, makes his dumb machines short, can't do any of the Viking-like things. By all Viking standards, he's an absolute failure. And everyone is not shy to remind him of these things. With all this external pressure and bullying, Hiccup uses his wit and words to cope with incredible sayings such as,
"Excuse me, barmaid. I'm afraid you brought me the wrong offspring. I ordered an extra large boy with beefy arms, extra guts and glory on the side. This is a talking fish bone."
Despite all this negativity and everyone's overwhelming apathy for Hiccup's existence, he persists and does what he can to try to help his village and earn the respect of his father. While, yeah, sure, he gets made fun of a little bit in the live action, there isn't the total disdain for his just existence that there was in the original. I mean, in the original movie, Stoic literally uses the idea of people looking after Hiccup to convince everyone to come join the Nest Search. Everyone fucking hated this guy, but in the live action, he's just kind of there. He doesn't get shoved around by Stoic much, and he has absolutely no reaction to being told by his dad that he almost gave up on him. Your father, the man you wanted to impress for 15 years, just said he almost gave up on you. And you don't give a shit? Gobber tells Hiccup not to worry because he's weak and thin. Good advice, by the way. But he's literally larger than like half the people in dragon training. Hiccup also just has no personality. Like at all. And he doesn't have his big hype-up moment where he's convincing himself to kill Toothless to become a real Viking, cut out your heart and take to my father. Like the main scene where Hiccup realizes that maybe he isn't the traditional Viking. Just isn't there. Not only that, I stand by the fact that Hiccup not fainting after encountering Toothless was a fucking choice. Yet more relatability and personality snuffed out of this amazing character. I will say, I don't really care about his voice being different. I think Mason's voice fits decently enough, but I do think he's slightly too old to be convincingly 15 to 16, which is how old Hiccup was in the first movie. He's also just too conventionally good looking to be first movie Hiccup. Second or third? Perfect. Absolutely perfect. First movie? Probably not. I also think he did fine acting as Hiccup. Well, the best he could. It's just everything else, like the lines being cut, or scenes just being gone, or other things that just make Hiccup more... nothing. Also, can we talk about how Hiccup just kind of betrays his entire tribe without any sort of evidence that dragons may be not bloodthirsty killers? The main plot twist happens a quarter of the way into the movie, and there's still an hour and a half left. Who the fuck? Okay. Calm down. Okay, so start up a story. Everything is just worse in almost every way. Literally one of the most important scenes in the entire movie just doesn't happen. There's literally no good reason to have taken it out, unless you're actually just a moron and should just leave. There's no fucking reason. So, about until halfway in the original movie, Hiccup has so far only learned that Toothless isn't like other dragons. Not that he's just a Night Fury, but he can also be trained and can interact with humans in a not entirely negative way. But after Test Drive, Toothless and Hiccup are chilling on this basalt island, both to relax after such an insane first flight together. Well, first one that didn't end in a crash anyway. Some terrors show up out of nowhere and start stealing all the fish they were eating. Not attacking Hiccup, just stealing his and Toothless's fish so they could eat. In this scene, Hiccup finally realizes that maybe the Vikings were wrong about dragons. Maybe there's something else that causes them to raid their village and take the food. But also in that scene, Toothless uses one of his plasma blasts to just blow up a terror from the inside. That's literally where Hiccup gets the idea to blow the Red Deaths from the inside. This just doesn't happen in the live action. How would he know to do that? How would he know that would work? Literally, so many things didn't work as well or at all with this scene being gone. I just don't get it. Across the board too, a lot of the scenes they kept in just really didn't work as well. Like, for example, in the new test drive, or I guess test driving Toothless scene. This part is really funny. I'm sorry. This doesn't work at all for making it intense or anything. It's just really funny. But when Hiccup goes full, okay, I'm a dragon, there are almost zero near misses. And we don't see them get close to anything. We actually don't see them do much of anything except flying because the camera was in the middle of 37 sea stacks. Oh, and the viewers don't get those quick action intensifiers because we only see Hiccup change the pedal twice, and then we're thrown right back into the C-stacks again. Yes, very intense scene we got here, so get out your pencils and notebook, kids. We're going to be figuring out which type of rock this is for your geology test tomorrow. A lot of other scenes just miss a lot of character reactions to help make it feel like what's happening on screen actually has weight. For example, the scene where Fishlegs and Hiccup are together, and Fishlegs throws the water in the Zipple Black. Why does he have almost no reaction to it being thrown on the wrong head? And when he does, it's just like, there's a big-ass dragon right in front of you, and it's gonna kill you, man. One scene I think that is actually done a lot better in the live action is when Hiccup shoots down Toothless. The Mangler looks really cool, and you also get to see how Hiccup actually shoots off the bolas with the 2 levers. And the whole scene of Hiccup running from the nightmare is really well done. Plus, watching Stoic kick the shit out of that nightmare was so awesome. Kicks off the cloak, and the meeting is over. It's time to throw hands, and God's above does he ever. Absolute peak. Absolute cinema. And then the rest of the movie happens. One of the story things that they took out that I really liked from the first movie were all the parallel scenes from the beginning to the end. Like how when Hiccup is about to kill Toothless, and he realizes what he's actually done and states, "I did this." When Stoic finds Toothless after the Battle of Dragon Island, he says the same thing, recognizing that he is the reason he almost lost his son. In the hall before the nest hunt, Stoic uses the line, "We're Vikings! It's an occupational hazard!" to rally the village. Which doesn't work because, well, then he just uses Hiccup as leverage. But Hiccup also uses the same line to convince his dad he can fight against the Red Death. Same thing with the intro and outro of the movie. And again with the, we just needed more of this. Yes, it's kind of dumb, but it's also something to show how Stoic and Hiccup are actually kind of similar. And also, just because I love how noticeably happier Hiccup sounds at the end. They added both the intro and outro and all of this, but Hiccup doesn't sound any different from the beginning to the end. So, I don't know. Also, the entire interaction between Hiccup and Stoic after Stoic frees Toothless is just... it's just weird. I know I've said this too, but it feels like the world just started when we're first shown Burke. Like, no one has any reason to interact with each other, no one has any connections, no one has friendships. Everything just starts as soon as we're shown the first frame. I feel like a lot of this movie was just made on the idea of, oh, let's make the dragons real! And then just forgot to make a good movie. But one area they did do well was the... almost all of it is just the original music, with just enough changes to make it a bit fresher. Like, everywhere has more trumpets and guitar, which is fine and works, but I miss the overwhelming bagpipes of the original for the dragons. Because it's mostly the same, it's still so fucking good, and John Powell can have all my kids, because oh my god. So I know a lot of people are going to be like, why are you focusing so damn much on stuff no one cares about? And to you, I say, that's somewhat fair. Most people will leave it at, yeah, it's fine. Not me, though. I have tons of issues. As a child, when my parents first sat me down to watch this movie for the first time, I wasn't expecting much. It looked stupid, and I wanted to go back to playing Midnight Club 3. But we watched it. And then this scene happened. And this one. And then this one. And I still remember the horror and sorrow I felt when Stoic disowned Hiccup. My man had been trying for so long to mean anything to his dad. The thing that finally got Stoic to appreciate his son is when his son gave up everything about him. But then things go wrong and Hiccup is cast aside and his tribe sails to Helheim's Gate, never to come back. I remember for years after I first watched this movie, I always had to skip this part because my soul would just keep crashing inwards. I always felt like Hiccup was a clone of myself, just in a world that doesn't exist. Maybe it's because I felt the hopelessness Hiccup had for quite a while when I was younger. Maybe it's because for how long time I felt alone and nothing I did ever worked. Or maybe it's just because we both have green eyes and a self-deprecating, sarcastic sense of humor. But this movie gave me strength in rough years. Just this feeling of being recognized, because, well, this movie exists, so that means someone out there had to feel the things I'm feeling right now. Nothing in this live action has given me that feeling. I don't know whether it's because I'm older and stronger than I was back then, but everything feels so much more shallow and fake. The crew for the How to Train a Dragon live action was too focused on trying to make a movie look real that they forgot to make one feel real.